Hi, folks. Welcome to the G-Town River Group. My name's Jerry Tallow, Lou's brother. I'm going to take a few minutes here to give an introduction as to what we're seeking to do with this group. So we have a little business card, and it states on it that our goal is to achieve a blend of sound Bible teaching and healthy spiritual life. In other words, we don't want to add more burdens onto people. We want to unburden them in the love and freedom of Christ. Consider this. Christianity is the only religion on planet Earth in which God did all the work to save our souls and give us eternal, secure life. Every other religion, it doesn't matter what it is, you have to take steps. They're called steps of merit, one way or another, to get closer to God or closer to the prize. Islam, Buddhism, Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness, I could go on. It doesn't matter. Jesus said this in John chapter 6. This is the work of God, that you believe on me whom God has sent. So Jesus is saying, you know the work I want you to do? Believe. It's faith. He's not saying go do something. He's saying believe something. In other words, Christianity, and we're going to see this week after week, it's an inside-out faith. The more I change on the inside, the more things change in my life for greatness, for good, for blessing, you name it. Jesus came as what's called a substitutionary atonement. In other words, a payment in place of me. Every one of us are born as sinners. We owe God payment for that sin. We're incapable of paying it unless you have lived an absolutely perfect life, right? I never did. So, nor did my brother Lou, by the way. So, God knew that, and he sent his son. He sent family. And Jesus on that cross was a substitute for us. In other words, Paul teaches in the book of Romans, it was as if you or I were on that cross, because Jesus was there in our place, paying the price for whatever we needed to do to get right with God and have peace with him in a relationship. In other words, I don't have to do anything. In fact, I can't do anything to get God to like me more or love me more or accept me more. What is greater than the very life of his son Jesus that was sacrificed? I have an old friend. He was a tunnel rat in Vietnam, and he did some really tough things. And he has struggled all his life with Christianity, and I've offered the gospel to him. And I've said, so-and-so, Jesus gave his life. It's a free gift. He said, I don't deserve a free gift. And he's right, none of us do. Jesus did it because we don't deserve it. It's called mercy, not getting what we deserve, which means judgment. And so he can't accept it because he can't understand how God could forgive him. And I said, well, God forgives you through Jesus. Jesus already paid the price for whatever sins, crimes you committed. So when you turn to him, you're forgiven. It's a legal transaction. The record is wiped clean. We'll talk more about this going forward. It is the greatest gift on earth. It happened to me 42 years ago. I have never been the same. So, the Christian walk is not about doing better things, doing more things, knowing more commandments, right? It's not about that. It's about being in relationship with Jesus and with one another, being in the scriptures. Jesus says, if you abide in me, you dwell in me. In other words, my scriptures abide in you. You ask what you need and I'll be there for you, he says. Be in prayer. Being in a place to serve others, being in his presence. It's not a task, it's a privilege. He makes it so easy, we complicate it. Paul said this in Romans 12. He said, I beseech you by the mercy of God. In Bible terms, that's about as strong an appeal, a cry as he could make. He said, don't you get it? You've got to listen to me. It is critical that you do this. And he said, by the mercies of God, present yourselves daily before the Lord, and let your minds be transformed by the Word of God. Be renewed by the Word of God. Don't be conformed to the ways of the world around you. I see the sun has spoken through. Sorry about that. So God's goal for us through the renewing of the mind is for us to be transformed more and more into His likeness or image. The more I am in prayer, the more I'm in the Word, the more I'm with others around me, the more I get to look like Jesus. I know that sounds weird. We're not claiming we're going to be gods, but we will have the love and peace, compassion, and life of Christ working in us. Of course, we change when that happens. Doesn't that make sense? Paul says 4 chapters earlier in Romans chapter 8, the purpose of God for us is that we are conformed into the image of His Son, so that He would be the firstborn among many sons and daughters. What is he saying? Those who trust in Jesus for their salvation, as they're being conformed into the likeness of Jesus, they are looking more and more like the family. So you come to a family table. You don't come to a family job. You don't come to do. You come to sup. You come to eat. You come to celebrate. As you do that, as you change from the inside, the desires you have, the passions in life, the things you want to do well that you don't, the struggles that you have, all those things begin to change. I am not the man I was. And it's because God's promise to us is so real. And people struggle with this. They struggle with it. I want to tell you a little story. Remember, what I'm saying here is you and I are sons and daughters. So we come to the table. God doesn't say, sorry, there's no place at the table for you today. I had them move your seat out. You're sitting outside in the backyard in the rain because you yelled at your kids. Or you two, your husband and wife, you had a fight. Or you stole something on the job. You stole that pen. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. A candy bar. You lied. The things we do all the time. It doesn't matter what you've done. He's saying it's all paid for. You are now my son and daughter. You belong at the family table. I'm not getting rid of you. So if you pull away from the table, you're missing the good meal. He makes it that clear for us. But the lies in our own minds and the culture around us say, we don't deserve that. We're not good enough. Remember, you're right. None of us are good enough. That's why Jesus gave His good life. So, it comes down to this. As I change inside, my behavior changes on the outside. Doesn't that make sense to you? Yes? No? I said I was going to tell you a story. Somebody came to me, a young man. I had done their wedding, and he said, they call me Doc, about a month or two into the wedding. He said, Doc, we're having some problems. I said, already? Come on. And he said, yeah, we're just not clicking. And I said, let's call him Paul. Paul, do you remember what I told you the most important thing for you to do with your wife is? He said, read the Bible. I said, yeah. I said, you don't have to be a scholar, right? Look at this. I got a thick Bible here. It's a study Bible. All you have to do is read 1 chapter a day with your wife. You don't have to be a perfect interpreter. You don't have to understand every little thing. Understanding will come as you get used to it more over time. Just do that and see what happens. Okay. I said, you haven't been doing it, have you? He said, no. So I thought he'd come back and see me in a couple of months. 2 weeks later, he grabbed me after a Sunday morning service. He said, you're not going to believe this. I said, what, the Yanks won the World Series? He said, no, it's like we're on our second honeymoon. I said, already? That's great. The only change he made, and this is a true story, they started reading the Bible. You see what I mean? The life of God gets in us and lives out through us. Peace comes. Change comes. Our minds are healed. Our memories are healed. The torments go away. It's a great journey. We invite you to join us. We'll be doing this on a regular basis, twice a month. We'll come together. We'll be in the scriptures. We will serve one another. We'll live healthy life in the Spirit. We'll pray for each other. We'll help each other. I hope you can join us and be transformed. God bless you, River Group.